Well, I've dried it now with my hair dryer. So let's get some of these dappled greens in, some of these leaf shapes. So I've got these little round major brushes, number 6. A little cheap brush I think I've got from somewhere. So I'm going to just dab over here and make a series of different shapes using a variety of greens. But I want to keep a lot of, or a number of sky holes here. It's fairly leafy. It is summer here in this shot, so we've got to make sure we've got a variety of different colors and leafy texture. And this comes right down into our picture here. I'll put the branch in up through the line of leaves. We can do that later. So let's get some sap green and some viridian, and make a variety of greens, putting blues or a little bit of red in some of them as well. So we've got try to vary it as well. Don't want it uniform. Got to try and give some realism to it. But I paint in a fairly loose way, more impressionistic. If you stand quite close to it, it's probably not as realistic as if you stand back a little bit, actually, which is a feature of an impressionistic style. If you stand back, your eye will create, you'll start to see it. It fills in some of the details. So you don't want to paint every jot and tittle, because that's very tedious, and in fact it's counterproductive sometimes, actually. If you do it, is less real than if you want to be loose with your style. Leaves are coming in here. So as I said, I've got 3 greens. I've got sap there, viridian, and hooker's green. So they're all going to give you a variety of greens. You can vary the tonal values by dropping in some browns and just generally keeping this theme of different greens. It's all getting different amounts of light. You don't want every individual brush mark showing as brush either. You've got to have some areas where it's thicker, where you don't see individual pieces of green. You want stiffer mixtures of green as well. And I've got darks here, so I think I need to put a goodly bit coming across here. And some lighter greens as well. I need a bit of blue in this though. I need to darken some of my greens, take them down a tone. It's a great mass here. Let's put some of that in. And behind here, or in there we have darker masses here. And we'll put our tree trunks up in that as we go. A little few more leaves here. Projecting down here over our other bits, this slab of water. There's a lake running through there, which we'll do later. Let's have some darks here over the tree trunk there. Some elements in here. It's good to work relatively quickly with watercolour. You seem to have a more effective image actually sometimes. I mean, some bits you need to slow down and consider it more, but just getting the balance right a little more spontaneously sometimes works better. And this is the other side of the water, just there. There's a few hedges as well. We can see in the field boundaries there, look. I can see it coming there. We've got a few little trees, shapes there. And those that are closer to us, we can have a more intense colour. There. And along our water's edge is along here. Just a little edge. All the reed banks going here. So we see it disappearing. And we've got another tree there. More hedges. Little field there. Okay, and I'm going to get a nice golden field through there as well. Let's still... We can always come back and add more dryer mix into our painting here later. But it's just, at the moment I'm trying to get some broad shapes into the scene. So I think I've got a nice yellowy field just in here, sort of springy green. Let's do that, and then we could put some ochre as well, some yellow ochre. Get some hints of that in the background there. Let's get some more ochre. In fact, there's I think I can use some raw sienna to give me a slightly different tone of this field here. Yes, let's go for that. I think I need a hint of light red with that. I'll make it a little redder. A little more richer, so we've got contrast. Yes, there we go. That's it. We don't want it too bright because remember it is in the distance and the colours fade a little bit in the distance. Right. Let's finish that green. Field through there. Right. Now, should we be getting something in this area here? I think we should. We've got some more green here. And some darks here. Got a nice dark here which we need to introduce with some bluer purpley mixture. I can find my purple. Yes, there it is. Up there, a sort of shadowy colour, that. So I'll mix that with some of that green. Give me here. In fact, I think I use one of my Chinese brushes. Or actually my sword brush. I think that's what we can do. This nice sword brush shape here. That gives you a nice coverage as well. In between these trunks of these trees, I'll be putting something in there shortly, but let's get some more of this shadowy colours here. Some green under this side of the tree. Right, and the darks come up this tree, shadow there, some orange colours, got some nice orange here, yellows. We'll go back to our mop brush. That's better. And get some of our raw sienna, I think, on there. Right, let's leave that for a moment. Although, while it's wet, it's a good idea, if you want soft edges, let's put in a bit of blue there, a bit more blue here, get this dappled, shadowed effect here, which we've got under here. Little shadow. Right, let's a bit darker actually. I need So I'm going to put a ultramarine and a little bit of red, crimson alizarin or cadmium sometimes gives you a nice purpley shadowy colour. I think we need that. Some there. Soften the edges a little bit. Got it dappled in here. Yes, I think that will do for the moment. But let's get the these trunks in. We need, that will help give us some shape. Let's see where we are. So I'm going to get a little bit of umber, burnt umber, some browns, some sienna, perhaps. Yes, we can vary it as we go. A little bit of Payne's grey. So I want it fairly dark there. We can do that, yes. That's coming down all right. So we've got bits of our tree we can see here, the big trunk here. We can go over and put more foliage over it as we go. Let's just get some shape in first. It's coming out here. This, you can see the big trunk here. Right, that helps, I think. Give us some form to where we're going. And we've got to get in these other limbs as well. They come out like this. Got something of a point to this little mop actually, which helps. But let's get these other limbs of these trees in. Yes, I think we've got a big tree here. Goes all up through here. And there's light on this thing as well. So I've got to either preserve it with watercolour, leaving some of the paper to come through, or what we can do is go in with some gouache later and do that. But let's see how we go. That's a bit of Payne's grey there, I think. Let's get this one. I think this needs to be a lot darker. And let's get a darker mixture. This element is definitely a lot darker in here. We've got lots of darks on this tree as well. So we've got to do that. Try and keep some light as well. Oh, we've got one in here as well. Set back here. See that? Coming off our picture there. But we need some more shadow and dark under here. Because I want to contrast with some bright light. Just here. I'm going to put some nice colours in there. You can see I need some green there as well though. Some green to give me some contrast there. Right, I'll do. And we've got some greens in there. Right, let's see. Now I want to step back and I need a smaller brush now to try and put in some of these little branches here that connect my leaves here. So I'm going to try and run them in. And we've got light in the background, so they're going to be a bit darker because they're set against the brightness. So we need to account for that. So we can bring them in like this. Right, let's go for that. A little bit thicker, I think, there. You can connect there. Right, let's get just a suggestion of branches here, there. Right, let's this one needs to be a lot darker actually. Right, let's get a little darker though to try and put some textures in here to give some three-dimensional form. It's only when you've got light and shadow that things can look as if they're got a form, they're not flat. So I need the heart of the tree is always dark as well. So I've got some Payne's grey here. So I want to anchor that down. Right. A little bit of dry brush work here. Sort of fairly dry mixture. Got to put some grasses in as well. I've got to try and do that. But let's make sure we've got some nice darks on our tree. There's lots of marks on this bark of this tree. So I may come back with some gouache and emphasize our lights. But for the moment, I'm just going to put a few darks in here. Yes, quite a lot in. Right, how about that? Now I think I need to put just a few more leaves in places to emphasize little darker tones. Got to do this so it will help it read. It's fairly light over here because I want to see the lake behind, but I think we could do a few more leaves in here set against that. Again, I've got these fairly vivid greens here. Always want light and dark all the time to make it read. This, gonna lay that over that bark, that bough there. Right, and this I think I need to make this a lot darker, so it was going to really exaggerate the bright that I have behind over here and just below it, where I put some nice yellows in a minute. Right, let's go with that. Some darks as well. Try and show that limb there. Darken that up. Right. Now let's get hold on, let's just put a little branch in here. So this can start attach these to something. Right, let's leave that for the moment. I've got a branch there without any leaves. That won't do. Got to put some. Right. Now let us get. We need some texture in these. Let's put some texture in. Again, just using this fine brush here. Give some grasses. I could use a fan brush perhaps. lots of ways of introducing texture actually. But I want to keep this fairly light over here. That's a bit too dark. Let's push this grass up a little bit here. Put a little bit down here. I think we'll go to our mop brush a little bit. Right. I'll soften these edges a little bit. Now let's get some, do I need some more colour there? I think I might go for some brighter oranges here. It really is very orange places here. Use your nail to give you some lights, scratch marks, some of the leaves and grasses. Now I think I'm going to get a fan brush. Might be what I need. Yes, I can spot one here. Yes, I've got this little fan here, very soft fan, so I'm going to dab that in and hope we can, yes, that gives us some nice grassy effects there. Can you see that? I think I'll have to do a close-up for you. You may not be catching that, but let's step it up a bit, a little wetter, yes. And we can use the edge to, let's get a bit thicker mixture. Yes, that can do it. Yes, that's coming along. You can use it like this, or you could just use the edge like this to give you some shapes. Got edges along the water there. Let's do that. Some here. Let's go back to my sword brush and see if we can't. That's too wet. Use my tissue to, that's it, that'll help. You can have a drier mixture, less water, or just thicker paint. It's one way to introduce those marks. Use the shape of your brush to give you variety. I think we get some orange. Orange mixture. Yes, that'll do it. And some browns. Lots and lots of different grasses here, different colours. it's wet, you can introduce a few marks. Now let's get a little bit into that water there, and I think we could do with a bit more blue, really. Let's see what we can do with that. Yes. Don't want to disturb my branches there. I should have established my blue perhaps before I did that, if I wanted a change of blue, but this can work for us, I think. Put a bit of blue there, give us a bit more of a change, more vivid there. Right, let's sweep that down a little bit. I've got a little brush here which will help me do that. There we go. Not too bad. Now let me think, how are we doing? I think I've nudged my camera a little bit. Let's move the picture a bit so you can get the corner there. I think I'm going to dry it a little bit so I can get some more texture in there. So let me get my hairdryer and give that a bit of a blast. Right. Use the sound. Don't take as long. Right, that'll do it. Hope you're not all deafened. Now let me think. I think we need, maybe I should go to a even thinner brush, my rigger, which is what you often, a nice fine brush. Can you see that? It's a rigger, cotton rigger, very small. But what we can do with that is we can get some fine marks in. Oh, now the paper is a little bit drier, so they can need a bit slightly wetter. Yes, that will give us some finer marks. Little tufts of grass. I think going to light against dark to make make this show. Let's get some reddy colours and orange perhaps. Yes, that will do it. So lots of amazing colours in the grass there. There we go, look. Can you see them? Let's make it. Now, what should I do over here, just behind there? Yes, I think I need some more grasses here. So this is all a bit boring here. A little bit dry brush here will give me some of this grass, some of the texture of this field here. That's it, I can do that. Right, there we go. Well, as I say, it's just a summery scene looking out on a lake. That's what I tried to capture. I've got could probably put a little bit more yellow and orange in this section. So just using my rigger, not the usual brush to use for this, but it's giving me a nice random, so I can get the odd grassy marks as well. So I want a soft edge there though, I want it all to blend in. And I think I'm going to put a bit of yellow here. Of course, this was in the bright sunshine there. And coming out the other side, and just here, the other side, this line of trees. So get that done. So hopefully I've got a lot of interest going. I've got textures. Could probably do it a little bit more shadowy colour. So I'm going to knock that up now with a bit of crimson alizarin. I think I need a little more blue there. It's rather dark. Let's make sure we've purpled it up a bit, I think. Yes, I think we need a shadow area here for this tree. It's all coming out here and a bit darker in there. Yes, need it much darker there, look. You see, let's get some more blue and more red there, a bit thicker mixture. And emphasize that a little bit better. And as I say, we've got elements of it coming here, probably reflected from this bough up here. And in our foreground as well. So I think we need to get onto that with a mop brush, something with a bit more coverage. So I've not really got enough shadow, I don't think. That's right. Crimson alizarin, ultramarine. That's better. In this foreground we've got the shadow as well. We've got our piece there, and we've got the shadow under here as well. This is all in this graded area here actually. Use your finger, you can soften an edge sometimes, like that. Or a bit of tissue will do that for you. Just right. How does it look? Right. I think I need just a little bit more on this margin to show us where the edge of this lake is. Yes, I think we project the shape into that. But I think I can bring up the lake margin here with some more leaves, reeds, and grasses. Right, okay. Yes, I think we've got more edge there, haven't we? I think I'm going to beef up this other side of this and bring it down a little bit. Because it's rather making rather a straightish line, and it doesn't read so well. I think I'll do that. Got more of edges out there. Right. Well, I think I've probably done here. You can't put a lot of detail in these pictures, although it's an impressionistic style. You can work on it and do a lot more detail. And you certainly want some detail in the foreground. People will look into that and read it better if you give it a little bit more detail in the foreground. But don't overdo it. If you overdo it, it just doesn't work for some reason. Break these lines up. Actually, what we could do, we need something to make sure our trees are really grounded. So I'm going to put a dark greens here. All the lichen and things that grow up the side of a tree or the ground level there. just where it meets the soil. So there we go with that. Now should I put some gouache in though? That's the thing. I think that should be darker as well, because it's in this shaded area. I want to make that bigger actually. Right, make that go out of our picture properly. We need to do that. Put a little bit of, should I put some gouache? I think I will actually. Let's get the gouache out and put some highlights on the trees. There's certainly in my reference some white. They're just catching a little bit of white. So I've got my gouache here. Let's get a more substantial brush. I'm using Winsor & Newton there, designer's gouache. This is really handy, and I use it straight from the tube. So make sure you've got a nice clean brush though if you're going to stick it into the gouache. You don't want to contaminate it, so let's get right on with that. See my reference, it's got